Welcome to the Home Services Home Show, where you learn everything you need to know.
And a whole lot you don't.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, it's late October.
Late October, baby. You know what that means?
Yes, I know what that means. The deer start getting a little crazy.
A little frisky.
Frisky. That's a good word.
Yeah, frisky.
That's a good term for it. You know, I started hunting in September, and I watched bucks frolic around like best friends. I watched 5 8-pointers play around, lick each other's ears. I'm not sure why they do that, but
It's a little different today.
they're not going to do that stuff anymore.
Now they want to hurt each other.
They want to hurt each other. So we're talking about bow hunting, obviously, because you can't legally gun hunt until the 3rd week of November. So how long have you been bow hunting?
Well, so I've been bow hunting since I've been 12. When I first started hunting, they didn't have a youth hunt, right? You got drug out in the cold by your uncles and dads and grandpas and did all the dirty work.
Early in the morning.
Early in the morning, and you did all the hard work. And then at 12, after you
they probably had a few too many cocktails the night before.
And they had stuff to do once they shot a deer, and then it was just, hey, kid, go take care of it.
Go do it.
Yep.
I'm going with they had too many cocktails.
That was definitely it. And they had to have more that night. So, but you know, back in the day, there was no youth hunt. And it's funny, we were talking before the show, and I've actually been hunting longer than producer Shane's been alive.
Wow.
Yeah. I still think
either you're old or he's young, or it's a combination.
It is a combination of both. Yeah.
I think he just became legal to drink this year.
he did just become legal to drink, which is crazy. But he's really good at what he does back there.
He just became legal to drink, and he's a producer on the #1 home services
home show
podcast. I screwed that all up. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's going places.
He's a big deal.
He's a big deal. He's a big deal.
Someday I hope he signs us an autograph.
Yeah. When he's working on
when Joe Rogan
podcast someday, hopefully he'll still remember.
He just got big-eyed sitting over that chair over there.
Yeah, hopefully you still remember us there, bud.
The little guys.
Yeah, the little guys.
But anyway, yeah, no, it's a fun time of year. It's late October, and it's fun to be in Wisconsin.
I tell you what, the other night the Packers were playing Sunday night, and I chose to not watch the game and go sit in the tree stand.
You said it's magic.
It's an addiction.
Yep.
And actually, you got me started in it.
Yep.
And we talked way earlier on a podcast about a hunting trip in Greenland, and that's where my addiction started, because we were gonna bring guns, and he's like, "Yeah, it's kind of cheating. Like, you shoot an animal with a bow. Like, that's really hunting." I'm like, "I don't even have a bow." He's like, my son, who was like 15-year-old son at the time,
right,
who was a giant. He's like, he's long arms, use his bow.
It's going to fit you perfect, and it did.
And it did. And so I went home and practiced.
You were like sneaking through your backyard,
awesome.
Crouching down.
Like kneeling down. Was it Sitting Dragon, Crouching Tiger?
Yeah,
Did I screw that one up? Yeah. I was getting all sneaky with it. Yeah, I got good with it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then you got your own, and the more you shoot, the more fun it is, and you just see things differently in the wild in September, October.
You know, you were always such a freak about smell.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, it's not that big of a deal.
It's everything.
I'm going to tell you what. These guys bust me all the time. And now I hear them bust me.
Uh-huh.
I've been busted 2 or 3 times already this year. And they make the loudest noise, and sometimes they'll stomp their foot. Something like that.
Just
like that about right?
One more time.
That's what they do, and then they stomp, and I'm like, I'm busted. I might as well leave. Like, they do.
Huh?
You warned me about that, but now I'm starting to be like, okay, this is for real. I get done hunting, my clothes get hung. I don't have a cool room or anything, but I will hang them outside.
Yep.
I'm
Well, you shot that giant last year with a gun. You shot a dandy.
Gun hunting doesn't matter.
Now you got to do it the real way and get with a bow.
I don't think, my opinion, and I'm not an expert, but I really don't think with gun hunting the whole scent thing matters.
Right place, right time. It's kind of like winning the lottery.
You could shoot one from 250 yards away. It's probably not smelling you all that well.
Correct.
But when you're 20 yards away.
Correct.
So what's really fun in the early season is that, for me anyway, now that I'm very much a beginner, is that more so than even going out and trying to get one right away, I just want to go out and see if they know I'm there.
Right. Small victories.
Like, and most of the time they have no idea. I'm literally right above them, looking straight down, and they're eating. And every once in a while they'll pop their head up and look, but they never go.
Not yet.
You know? Not yet.
Right.
But when I get busted, they bust me from a long ways
This
away.
way.
Anyway, I could talk about
Yeah,
this.
that's a whole nother
literally
show.
forever.
Yeah. Probably no one cares on a home show though. This isn't.
I don't know, but if you're watching or listening to this and you're a bow hunter,
You get it.
you get it. You get it. They can smell even the slightest movement.
Yes.
Too. See everything.
Some of them old does, you blink your eyes, like they're looking right into your soul, like they're staring at you, and they see your eyelids blink.
The last doe that busted me, I didn't even see her.
Yeah.
Didn't even know where she was.
Well, if your job was your only job was to live and breed, you'd be really good at it.
Yeah, to just not get killed.
Yeah.
By what, coyote
Yeah, or cars.
or or cars.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember Dan Bongino's number one rule? Don't get dead.
Don't get dead.
Yeah. That's that deer's number one rule. Don't get dead.
That's number one rule.
So
we had a question about storm damage.
yeah, and that's not the first one we've had. Like that's
No, everybody always wants to know about storm damage, and what's the thing that just happened not that long ago?
Hurricane Ian came through and destroyed parts of Florida.
And from a homeowner standpoint, from an adjuster standpoint, from a contractor standpoint, getting that cleaned up is messy.
Yeah, it breaks my heart when that stuff happens because no one ends up being happy, right? The homeowner,
It's tough.
Their stuff gets wrecked. Hopefully it's not wrecked to the point where they were harmed or injured or displaced, right? That would be best case. So they're in a tough spot. Then the adjuster's got to go be the guy that's got to be the go-between, and he's never anybody's friend because everybody thinks that the adjusters are always trying to take advantage of people, and they're just trying to do their jobs, right? They have bosses, and the contractors, some of the ones that are really pushy, they don't like the adjusters, and so they're in a tough spot. And then the contractors are there, and you're trying to do the best work you can, and so it becomes a business of necessity. But again, like we talked about in past shows, when it comes to the experience, that's the only thing people are going to remember.
Homeowner wants to get their home put back together as good as it was before.
Correct. And not be a giant pain in their butt.
Adjusters or insurance companies want to get the homeowner's home fixed, usually paying out as little as possible, as little money as they possibly can.
To do it right, though. To do it.
Sometimes.
Well, let's say to do it.
Okay, to do it right. And the contractor wants to do it, get it done the right way, and be profitable.
Correct.
So they can actually stay in business. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on.
Moving parts.
And didn't you just deal with this year?
Yeah, we had a storm that came through New London, Hortonville. Fortunately for us, it caused a lot of problems, but fortunately it hit a non-big area, not
super densely
populated. No,
but it was big hail.
It was big hail, and it wrecked a lot of stuff, and everybody that was in its path had to deal with storm damage. And I used to have a saying that I still do. When I see hail come across the state, you see those storms with that big, and I'm not a meteorologist, but that big bow. It looks like a big bow and arrow coming at you. Yeah, kind of like it's gonna.
It's tornadoes. That's hail.
That's
the bad stuff.
The purple. I do an anti-hail dance. Now I do it on this podcast, but people would either love me or hate me, so I'm not going to do the dance. But
don't dance, please.
Rhythm, and I got soul.
White man can't dance.
So I do an anti-hail dance, hoping this hail doesn't crush us. And this last fall it did. So, but at the end of the day, it happens, right? And now contractors have a choice, and homeowners have a choice, right? The insurance company's got to. So when a storm hits, right, the insurance company is obligated to fix your home to the condition it was before the storm happened. Right. Their responsibility isn't to do upgrades. Their responsibility isn't to make it prettier than it was. Their job is to replace it to the condition it was before the storm happened. Period. End of sentence. That's the responsibility of the insurance company. And
you don't even have to fix it if you don't want.
You don't have to. It'd be a really bad idea.
But it devalues your home.
So that's a good point. So when we worked at Lindis back in the day, they didn't really have what's called depreciation. So we should probably talk about it a little bit.
Correct. They did not.
So
That is the most confusing thing for a homeowner
Correct.
when they get a claim,
Yep.
and a claim form is they don't know what that is.
They don't know what that is. So let's talk about
Actual cash value, recoverable depreciation.
Right.
Okay.
So let's talk about that
get
for a
into
second. So back when we were at Lindus, they didn't have what's called depreciation. Depreciation is basically an insurance mechanism to make sure that you do the job.
And I was going to say, why do you think they started doing depreciation?
Because when we were back at Lindus, we had a storm come through, and people would fix their homes, or kind of fix their homes, take all the money, go buy snowmobiles, boats, jet skis,
Right.
four-wheelers, cars, and they either didn't fix their house or they fixed it halfway.
So basically, the insurance company would come in and say, okay, your roof is damaged, your siding is damaged, and we're to replace this, it's going to cost $40,000. So your deductible is $1,000. So here's a check for $39,000.
$39,000, and people thought they had the jackpot.
Right. And then some homeowners would say, well, you know what? My siding's really not that bad.
Correct.
So I think I'll just fix the roof. And then,
I really wanted a four-wheeler.
yeah, we're going to buy a new four-wheeler, or maybe two of them.
Right.
And then they don't fix the siding.
Correct.
Well, so insurance companies got smart to that. And we're like,
So now they have a thing
we're
called
only going to pay you if you fix it.
So now they have a thing that's called the depreciation. So you still have that $40,000 claim,
Yep.
right? But let's say your siding or your roof is, let's say it's 15 years old. So they may say your value of this repair is $40,000, but we're only going to give you 20 of it.
Because that's what it's actually worth.
Correct. So they hold $20,000 of the depreciation, right? And once the job is done and completed, and the contractor shows that you did the work for $40,000, then they release the $20,000.
And I like to put it this way to homeowners. They depreciate it because everything you have has a life cycle.
Correct.
Right? So let's say that they valued it at 30, their life cycle is 30 years or 20 years or whatever it was. Your home was, your siding and roof was devalued by $20,000.
Right.
Because that's really what it's worth, because it's been on your house for a while. So we'll give you $20,000. If you want to take a trip to Disney World, go for it.
Right.
Now, you want to file a claim on that again, you're out of luck.
You're out of luck.
Because you didn't fix it the first time.
If it gets wrecked next time and it leaks and you have problems and now you have bigger problems,
which is most likely what
they're going to say, hey, we paid to fix it. You didn't fix it. I'm sorry, but you're on your own.
So recoverable depreciation is not coming to you until you fix it. Show them invoices that it was done.
Done. Correct. Now, the question always comes up, what if I can find a way to get it done cheaper? So let's say your insurance company says, hey, this claim, we think it's worth $40,000, right? And they hold 20, but you find Jimmy, that's the guy at the local tavern, that says I can do it for 30.
Tank Top Ted?
Tank Top Teddy, yep, that's it.
Toolbox Timmy?
But guess what you get to do? Guess what the insurance company's going to pay for at that point? If he shows a receipt for $30,000, you're only getting $30,000. You don't get to make money off the insurance. So so I tell people, when it comes to insurance, the insurance company is responsible for repairing the home to condition it was before the storm happened.
Yes.
Take that money, do it right, don't cut corners. And if you want to upgrade at that point, that's the perfect time to do it.
Wouldn't it be a perfect time to upgrade? Like get something better, like an upgraded shingle
For
upgraded
almost
roof,
free.
for a little bit extra?
Correct.
Because then as far as I've seen, 99% of all insurance policies are replacement value.
Yes.
Right? So if we upgrade at the time, say I've got just a normal 3-tab shingle, it's 15 years old, it gets damaged. Now, I choose a good contractor, and they say, well, I can do an upgraded roof, but that's going to cost $25,000. And say I spend $10,000 or $5,000 out of pocket, I can upgrade. Now, if that gets damaged again,
correct,
now the insurance company has to pay for that roof.
Right, because they got to repair the roof into condition it was before the storm happened.
It's a perfect time.
Perfect time to do it. And very rarely can you get the roof of your dreams or the siding or whatever it is that got damaged for pennies on a dollar.
No.
Right? If the insurance company is going to give you $40,000 to get this roof done the right way, and I say, hey, I really like those shingles that look nice, or maybe an impact resistant shingle,
Eagle synthetic,
right? Eagle synthetic. A lot of different options to upgrade, and it costs you $5-6 grand out of pocket, or maybe $10 grand, maybe depending on what you want to do. That's the cheapest $10 grand you're ever going to spend.
Correct.
But now, instead of that roof being $40,000, if it happened again, now it's worth $50,000 if you stuck $10,000 into it. So people are always confused on what is depreciation, what's the actual cash value, that kind of stuff. And that's where a good contractor that sits down with you
Yeah.
and,
Yep.
and explains the details matter. Because there's a lot of contractors that want to just come in, get the business. They don't care about what you know or don't know. They just want to do the work and be gone.
Yeah, I used to have a saying that when there was a little hook, you talked about the
Yep.
hook on the radar in the
Yep.
storms. That hook was like a fishing hook, and it created a line of contractors coming from down south,
Yep.
straight to our area. I mean, there were times that we'd have hail come through, and I'm telling you, it hadn't even hardly stopped hailing, and I get into a neighborhood because we'd have a customer call us right away, and there were vehicles from all over already. Because again, and I'm not going to sit here and say that they're all bad because they're not, but they're coming to make a quick dollar,
Right.
and that's what they and that people have to understand. Unless that hail like legitimately goes through your roof,
Right.
because that has happened. I
Mhm.
mean, I've seen pictures of softball size hail that ended up in someone's living room. Unless that hail goes through your roof's not gonna leak tomorrow.
Correct.
It's not gonna leak in a week. It's not gonna leak in a month. It might not even leak in a year. But what it's doing, what exactly is happening when that hits the roof?
So
really hard?
it's damaging that fiberglass mat. It's fracturing the mat, and at that point, it's never going to heal itself. So some shingles are basically dying an accelerated death at that point,
You're gonna lose the shingle rock. You're gonna lose the rock,
which is
granules
which is
sooner.
the protectant to that shingle, and now you have no protection on that roof, and it's
So-
going to die fast.
It's gonna make your roof age faster than it was going to before. It's not necessarily gonna make it leak tomorrow. So just remember this, Shane. When you get to be a little older and you buy your first house, actually, I think you're looking for houses right now, right? Kind of, yeah. When you're not flying around buying cars. No, I get it.
Oh, to be 21 again.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great. I'd do it differently. I wouldn't be such an idiot. But anyway,
Challenge accepted.
challenge accepted. People need to understand that when a storm hits your area and all those contractors are coming from different states and they're pressuring you, you need to get this done. You don't. You can wait.
Yep.
The first thing you should do is what? File a claim.
File a claim.
If you think you have damage, file a claim.
Mhm.
People think if they file a claim that their insurance will go up, and that is not
the
true.
case. Nope.
That is not true at all. You file the claim, you get it on record that, hey, we had hail. I
Mhm.
believe we have damage. We need an adjuster to come out.
Correct.
And then you find a contractor.
Right.
And I will always say, find a contractor that's local.
Correct.
That you know is going to do a good job. You might have to wait for that person,
Yep.
but that's okay.
Right. If someone can do it tomorrow, and they're
That is a problem.
that's a red flag, right? People talk about what are red flags for storm damage contractors. If they're saying, "Hey, I want to do this job next week," and the insurance company hasn't even been there yet, or even if they're doing jobs that fast, their only goal is to get them done fast
And get out.
get out. And guess who's going to lose? The homeowner, because the experience that we always talk about, the experience isn't what you're expecting.
Yep. We've replaced some roofs that were last replaced because of a storm, and it's pretty scary
It is
because they will come in and they will. I'm not saying that again.
not all.
Not all of them. There's some really good companies that do storm restoration work, but a lot of them that come in as soon as that storm is done and bring roofers with them and they want to get it done immediately. It's not necessary.
Right.
It's just not.
No, there's no unless you have parts of your roof missing.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, wind could be more severe, right?
Correct,
Where you
than
actually
hail.
are missing shingles.
Shingles, right?
Hail is, again, it's going to speed up the death of your roof.
Correct.
And insurance companies know that, and it needs to be replaced.
Right.
You know, one of the biggest when you go to sell a house and you have it inspected, like literally the first thing that every home inspector looks at is
Up on the roof.
that's a roof.
Right.
That's the first thing that they look at because it's a big fix.
It's a liability if it's done wrong.
Your roof leaks, you're talking about way more damage than just your shingles, and
Right.
it's expensive. So it's the very, very, very first place they look. When I bought my last house, it was covered in snow.
Never looked at it.
Never looked at it. Guess what?
It was
When the
bad.
snow melted, it was shot.
Good thing you know a good roofer.
And I do roofs.
Yeah, good thing you know a good roofer.
And I was like, it was too steep, too high. I'm sure it's fine.
Right.
No, it was shot.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, and So people always ask, what do we do? My thing is slow down. Don't rush.
Yeah,
Just take your time, right? And
weather the storm.
correct, right? We're not dealing with Hurricane Ian type effects here in Wisconsin. That's
No.
not our deal.
No.
So, and the other part is you should be interviewing contractors. It should be an honor for them to work on your house, not something that they expect to do.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, myself, and I know your family here at Larson's the same thing. It's an honor to work on people's houses. It's something that we take pride in. And if that contractor doesn't have that same feel, yeah, just because you have storm damage doesn't mean they deserve the work.
Right.
It should be an honor for them to work on your house.
Right.
So
also, if they come in and they try to force you to sign, remember this, Shane, when you buy a house, they're trying to get you to sign a contingency contract on the spot right away. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
There's no reason to do it because you could do it whenever. Have your insurance agent come out, file the claim.
Most people, other than storm damage, they don't typically have to do roofing project in their life, so they don't know what to expect, right? And I honestly think
most people really don't know what to expect. With storm damage,
and you should interview contractors like you're interviewing for a job. You don't typically. You shouldn't hire the first contractor that comes out unless it's something. Okay, God, this is exactly the experience I'm looking for. I get the great feeling. I know exactly what's going to happen. The details are very well laid out. Like there's no gray area. Okay, then maybe. But a lot of times when you compare 3 contractors or 4 contractors, and you're going to see someone of those 3 or 4 that's going to rise above you and say, okay, that's the guy for me.
Yeah.
And that's really the key is when you find that person. It's kind of like when I talk about taking my daughter to visit colleges. You're going to know when you find the college, right? You're going to walk in there and you go, this is the place for me. Same thing with contractors. You're going to say, you know what? This contractor has my best interest in mind. We're in a relationship. We're in a business relationship where they have to do the work on my home the right way. I'm going to pay them, but along the way, we're going to have some fun. It's going to be enjoyable. And when it's done, I'm going to thank them for taking care of my house, and they're going to thank me for the opportunity to work on their house.
Absolutely.
And when that relationship happens, life is good.
Yep. Let's recap real quick. Storm damage. First thing you do if you have wind damage or storm damage.
Go file your claim.
File a claim.
Yep. Get your contractors out there. Interview them.
Start looking for contractor.
Yep. And don't rush to get this. Don't rush to make a decision.
I would personally say make sure they're local. Now, depending on the size and the severity of the storm, out of area contractors sometimes they're needed.
Yep.
Like they're needed to fix all of the homes. But for the most part, I would try to stay local because especially with hail damage, it's not typically something that you need to worry about right away.
Correct.
It's not going to make your house leak immediately.
The next step is to inspect.
Well, let me ask you, hey, when did your hailstorm happen?
April.
Are you still getting people that are calling right now?
We're still getting people that call that still haven't had the thing filed with their insurance company yet.
They waited. And they're fine.
They're fine. And guess what? They're not stressed.
No.
It's amazing, right? And those are the ones and they're probably going to be the happiest because they didn't rush to a decision. They didn't rush to get a job done. And that leads to my next thing is inspect what you expect, right? Because you want to make sure that you want to know what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and we talk about the recipe, right? What is the service after the sale if you need it?
Yep.
That becomes the key.
Yep. And if you rush to go with somebody out of town, I mean, they're literally not going to answer the phone.
No.
They're gone.
Right.
Poof.
Yeah.
They're gone. Anyway,
right.
It just came to my head.
It's a scary place there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it is. So don't rush. Do your homework.
Yeah. And it should be enjoyable. Just because you had a hailstorm doesn't mean it has to be stressful, anguish, my anxiety level's up. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, just kick back, have a cocktail, and enjoy watching all your neighbors stress out. Just
pick the right guys, and it makes it easier.
Exactly. So, well, I think that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. That's it for the show today.
Thank you to producer Shane and director Chase.
Director Chase and Shane. I'm glad I let you say that because I will. That's a tongue twister for me.
Well, for sure. Me too. I had a dog. Chasing. No. It is a long story. But we'll do that next time.
We'll talk about that next time. So anyway, show for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
We'll catch you next time.
All right. We'll see you.
Thanks, guys.